In this video, we will say how to perform basic data analysis of any dataset using Python. Normally, the datasets are present in CSV file and we used to load the data into Pandas data frame and we can do the data analysis. In Python, a very famous and popular module available named as Pandas, which we can use that particular module to do the data analysis. So today we don't have any data available in CSV file. We have a data present in a database, that is MySQL database. What we will do, we will try to load basically that data directly into Pandas data frame and we will do some basic data analysis of that particular data. Let me show you what is data. So let me open my MySQL workbench. So if you see here, this is the MySQL workbench. By the way, if you don't know what is MySQL workbench, so when you install MySQL community server or when you install MySQL database, along with database, you get MySQL workbench. It's a client tool using which we can access the MySQL database. And if you don't know how to install MySQL database, or if you don't know how to install Python, how to install VS Code, how to install Anaconda framework, how to create virtual environments with Anaconda framework, how to integrate Jupyter inside VS Code. These are all videos we have already released into the playlist. You can go to the playlist of Data AI Revolution channel and you can watch those videos to understand this. So let me show you first. In this video, I will show you the data which we are going to use. So let me just click on the connection. So connection is root. For demo purpose, password I also kept as a root. So let me log in this and I will show you there are three databases available: CrimeDB, MedicalDB and SIS. So the data which is present in CrimeDB, we have one table named as crimes. Let me just select the rows and see, this is the query: select star from the CrimeDB.crimes. Crimes is the table and CrimeDB is the database name. And the limit we have applied here is 300. But if you are going to apply no limit, whatever number of rows are present, almost I don't know, basically let me check it out. What is the number of records we have? So let me do one thing. So just scroll this up, little bit up. Yeah, so we have around 2,449 records, and these are basically this data basically we have taken from NCRB portal of Government of India, where the data is already available, and this data is related to crimes which happened from in India basically from 2001 to 2010. So it's a complete 10 years data. Even this data you might get in different government portals also, or you can get this data on different websites available on internet. What I will do is I will make this available data set into my GitHub repo, so you can use this data and you can make the data analysis also. So this data we can download from here. We can export as a CSV and we can read that CSV into Pandas data frame and we can make the basic data analysis. That also we can do. But I don't want to go with this way because a lot of tutorials available to read the basic CSV into Pandas. Just only straightforward in Pandas, the function available named as read_CSV. And inside CSV, if you're going to give the name of that particular CSV, then we can load the data. But I don't want to show that very normal way. I wanted to show basically how basically we can directly load a data from database into Pandas data frame. So that's why I have not downloaded any CSV of this particular data. So let me do one thing. Let me come back to here. So for this, we need two packages. So first of all, we need a Pandas. So we need to install Pandas. So pip install Pandas. So if you have not installed Pandas, you can install using pip install Pandas. So I have already installed Pandas. That's why I got this particular message, requirement already satisfied. Even I'm going to use one more package named as SQL Alchemy, and let's install this also. So SQL Alchemy is basically one ORM which is used to connect with databases. So which makes the connection between your programming environment with database. So this video tutorial is going to become a little bit long. So to reduce the time, what I will do, I will not type the each and every sentence. So I will this notebook I have already uploaded into my GitHub repo. So I'll just copy the code from GitHub repo one by one, and I will show you basically how we are going to do this. So let me delete this cell. Yeah, we can keep this cell as it is also. That is not a problem. So let me do one thing. Even you can give your exclamatory mark also. That will also work. And if you're not going to give, that is also going to work. So let me comment this particular line. So yeah, and even if you want to install pandas also, so we will just keep pandas also, right? So first time if you are going to create an environment, so currently the environment which we have created, that is test environment. In test environment we have already installed pandas in SQL Alchemy. In your case, if it is not installed, just run this particular, just uncomment this line and run this particular cell. It will install these two packages into this particular environment. Now which packages we need? So we need a pandas and we need a SQL Alchemy. So let's import this. So what I will do, let me go to here and let me just take these two packages and let's run this. So we are going to import pandas package and we are going to import SQL Alchemy. From SQL Alchemy we are going to import create engine. So this create engine is going to create the connection to database. So let us first create. So I will come back to this what is config file and read credentials. So first what we will do, let me do one thing. So let me copy this line, create database connection. So let us create the database connection. So we have this database, and if we are going to see here, so this is this root is basically username, 127.0.0.1 is basically host, which is also called as local host. Port number is 3306, and if you are going to see, the database name is CrimeDB, and inside CrimeDB the table name is basically crimes. So you need to know this basically things. So first is basically host, second is username, next is password, next is the database name, table name also you need, and port number also we need. So let me minimize this. So what we will do, yeah. So the username is basically root, right? Password is basically again root, right? Host name is basically localhost, so make it localhost, right? And port number is basically 3306. So when we have installed basically MySQL server, database server, so that time the port number was specified 3306 and the database name is basically crime_db, right? And let us create an engine. Once engine is going to create, let's pull the data from database. So let me do one thing now. So we will write the query, and to write a query, so what is the query? A query is very simple, right? Select star from crimes. What is crimes? Crimes the table. Let me show you this here. So once we are going to see the data, right? So this data came already here, and the query is this: select star from crimedb.crimes. Crimedb is basically database name and crimes is basically table. So this is optional, right? Database name is optional here. We can give select star from crimes also, table name also. So this is the query which we are going to execute, and after this what we will do, we will read the particular data from database using this particular read SQL. So in pandas, the function, we already imported pandas here, so as a PD, and PD dot, the function is available named as read_SQL. The query we have passed here, execute this query on this particular engine, and the engine is basically created already. And let's execute this. So once the data is going to load, yeah, data is already now we have already loaded data from database into this df data frame. Let's check the data came or not came. You can see the data came, right? All data, 2449 records came, and 8 columns already came. All the columns are here. We are going to make the data analysis of this particular data set. Even you can save this data set. So let me show you how to save the data set. So df dot, there is a function named as 2_csv, and inside 2_csv you can give the crime data dot csv, the name of particular file. So if you are going to execute this, you can see this particular data set is going to create. Let me show you. So this is the data set which we have already pulled from database, and we have already saved this into as a local file, local csv file. You can read this local csv file directly also. So here there is no need to make any database connection once you have the local csv file. Instead of this read_SQL, you can give this read_CSV, and yeah, you can give read_CSV, and you can give basically path of that particular CSV, and you can read that particular CSV into a data frame. So that's normally we used to do, but in specific this video we wanted to show you how basically we can read the data directly from database. That's why we have done this particular process. Now what is this read config file and credentials, right? So what is the problem of this approach? I will tell you. So if you observe this particular connection string, what is this? This is basically username, and username is root. username of what? A database. This database, right? Then what is this? Root is basically password. The password for this database is root. So this is username, this is password, this is the host name, this is the port number, and this is the database name. This is basically a credentials. And for security reasons, right? If you are going to write this all credentials as it is here, then this will be a insecure way. So we should not write all those credentials here as it is, right? So normally the credentials are maintained in a separate file, and we are going to read those credentials into this particular file. So for example, tomorrow if you are going to share this crime analysis.ipynb notebook file to your friends or any other people, then this connection string will also go along with this particular file, and here he can see the credentials of you, this particular credential he can see. So this is insecure way. So for this, what we can do, we can create one more file, right? So that can be called as a configuration file. Normally in IT industries, right, the security credentials are maintained into the configuration files. So we can create a file with any name basically. Let's create a file with config.ini. It's a basically configuration file, and this configuration file here we will maintain the credentials. So let me do one thing now. Again, for time saving, the structure to maintain the credential file is this. So let me go back to here. Yeah. So this is the section which we are going to create. You can give a section, any section name basically. Here we have given database. Host is basically here. So what is the host? The database host already we know, localhost. The user is basically root, we know already, right? The password is root, right? And port number is basically 3306. And again, the database name is basically CrimeDB. Let's save this file, right? Now we wanted to load this particular credentials into this particular second file, right? So for this, there is one more module available named as config parser, and let us import the config parser now, right? So let me come back to here. Yeah. So the config parser you don't have to install; it's already built-in module available in Python. So let's import config parser module. Yeah, it has been imported. And how to read? So how to read basically config file? So you can create an object. Say you are going to create an object of config parser class, and you are using a read method. You are passing the file name. What is the file name? Config.ini. Once you are going to execute this file is read into this particular object. Now after reading the config file, right, how can we access those values basically? So to access those values, you can use this, right? So what is the object name? Config. What is the section name? Database. And what is the actual parameter variable? That is host. Let me show you. This is the section and this is the actual parameter. So section plus parameter if you are going to pass, you will get this value. Section plus this parameter if you are going to pass, you will get this value. So section is database, host is basically one more parameter, you can say variable. So it will give the value and it will save into this particular host value. And when we are going to run this, these all credentials are now read into this particular variables. And once it is going to load, you can use app string. In app string, what you can do, so basically you can use like this, right? So this is the one thing. Let me do one thing. This is host basically. This is user, right? This is basically first is user. So let's copy user and let's paste the user. Let's paste the user. Let's copy the user. Okay, I pasted a user here, right? Then this is the password. So password is basically is stored in password variable. You can see this variable. Next is port and next is database name. So this is basically port. So now this is port and this is database name. Right? And let's execute this now. See, now again engine has been created, but now if you are going to see this particular file now, you don't have any user credentials in this particular file. The credentials are maintained in separate file. Tomorrow you can only share this file to your friends, and you can tell him that you can use your own credentials and you can connect to database and you can pull the data. There is no need to disclose your credentials to your friends. So this is because of this we can go for config file. So let me go down and let me just, okay, engine is created. Let us, the query will be same, right? Let's read the data. Data is now loaded into data frame. Let's execute this particular thing. So data is now available. You can see this data is available. Now let's do the data analysis, right? So I will not save again data into CSV file. So let's comment this particular line. Now do the basic data analysis. First, we want to know number of rows and number of columns. So for this, what we can do, we have a shape property available. So the data frame is basically let me paste this particular line. So see, df is basically data frame. Data frame dot shape is the property. So let's execute. So we have 2449 rows and 8 columns, right? What is the size? So size will be same, right? So here what we can do, write df dot size and just run it. So this is the size 19,592. Now what is size? Basically number of rows into number of columns. So if you multiply these two numbers, you will get this particular number. In this data set, you want to print, right, top few rows, right, top few records. So how we can do this? So retrieve the top few records, and to get the top few records, the method is basically head. So you can write head df.head and you can execute. So you can get, say, by default you will get 5 records, and if you want to get only 2 records, just pass the number. So we want 2 records. If you want 20 records, the pass number, you can pass the numbers. So you will get 0 to 90, 20 records and so on. So let me just pass 3. So we want only 3 records. Similarly, if you want to get bottom records, so you can go for df.tell. Tell will give the bottom records. By default, it will give the 5 records. So 5 last records. If you want to get only 2 last records, you can pass number as a 2. So you can see this is the last record. If you want to get middle records, right, so we can use method chaining. What is method chaining? You can use head and tail combinations. So this df.head of 100, it will give top 100 records, and dot tail of 5, out of top 100, last 5, that is 95 to 99, right? Now 95 to 100. So these records, if you want, right, we can go for this particular. So middle records, if you want, you can use this way. You can select the top few records, and out of that you can select the bottom records. Even we can do vice versa also. You can select first bottom records and then you can select top records. So for example, let me use that case, let me show that scenario also. So let us say, for example, I need a same records, right, 95 to 99. So instead of head, we can go for first tail, but here we have 249 total records, right? So let's give 349, right? And out of that, go for head 5, right? Let's execute now. You can say, okay, so it gives 100 to 104. So what this should be, what should be this number? If you want to get, okay, this should be 54, right? Let's try for 32354. Yeah, so you can see. So we are going to see bottom 2354 records. Out of that, we are selecting top 5 records. So we will get the same. So using this, what we can do, we can retrieve the middle records from the data frame, right? If you want to see the columns, so the property available named as columns. So df.columns, you can see the property. Even basic information, if you want, you can go for info. Method is available. So once you are going to execute this, you can see this is the data frame. This is having 449 number of rows, records basically, and index is starting from 0 to 2448. Total 8 columns are there. This is the first column, second column, third column, fourth column, up to last column. And in every value there is 2449 value, so there is no any missing value. And this is the data type available. So first is object, is basically string. So this is integer, this is string, this is string, this all again integers. So out of 8 columns, 5 are integer and 3 are string columns. And the total size which currently that data set has taken is basically 153 KB. Retrieve data from specific columns, right? If you want to retrieve data from specific columns, you can do one thing. directly you can specify the name of that particular column. So for example, you want to retrieve data from this last value of property stolen, right? So you can use this. So you can see, right? Either you can use this way or you can do one more way. So df dot directly you can write the this one specific column name. So let me copy this, and if you're going to execute now, you can see the values came specifically. So either you can use dot way method, or you can pass in the forms of double list. Inside double list, you will get that particular records. If you want multiple columns, that I will show you. We want unique values in a column. So to get unique values in a column, what we can do, for example, let's take this particular example. So we want to get unique values in first column. First column is basically area name. The method is unique, and it is going to show what are the unique areas presented in the dataset. So these are the unique areas. You want count, right? So for count, what we can do, you can use the same thing, just only instead of unique, go for n unique, that is number also it will give. So these values are basically 35 number unique values are there, right? If you need the value count of each value, then what we can do, instead of n unique, we can go for value counts. So value counts. So you see, Andaman and Nicobar, there are 70 records. This Pondicherry, there are 70 records. Maharashtra, there are 70 records, and so on. So you can see, only for Lakshadweep, there is only 69 records, and so on. If you want to retrieve data from multiple columns, you can pass the columns names like this in the forms of list. That is 2D list basically. So let me just scroll down. Let me paste. Yeah. So you can see df of, right? List, inside list, the first column name, second column name, third column name. If you want to get only the data of these 3 columns, you can pass these column names like this. So you can see we got area name, we got crime year, we got value of property stolen. So whatever column names we are going to specify, we will get it. And all the records we can get it. Can we go for minimum value for a specific column? Definitely yes. So let me, for example, I want to check what is the minimum year present in this particular crime year. So df.crime year is the column, dot minimum will give the minimum value. If you want to see maximum value, so this is 2001, right? So maximum value, the method is basically only max, right? Other things will be so maximum is 2010. So we don't have latest data, so we have past data from 2001 to 2010. Can we go for some statistical information? The answer is yes. So we can go for describe. So you can just enter this, you will get it. So you can get it number of values basically, that is called as count. Average you can get as a mean. Standard deviation also you can get. Minimum value is basically you also get. 25 percentile is called as quartile 1 value. You can get it. 50 percentile is called as quartile 2, which is also called as median. That also you can get it. 75 percentile you can also get it. Maximum also, and so on. Then can we know the index? Yes, definitely. So let us check what is the index. Index is basically currently range index is available. So if you print the data df, you can see. So this is called as index. Left hand side 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a range index, and the range started with 0 up to 2449. So can we set any specific column as an index? The answer is yes. So let me show you. Yeah. So how can we set? So df.set index is the method. You can give the name of column which you want to set as an index, and in place equal to true is making this changes permanent into basically the data frame, right? Original data frame. So this is going to, if you're going to do this, you can see earlier this was the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but now the crime year is basically index, right? Can we reset the index? The answer is yes, right? So we can reset the index. So let me show you how we can reset the index. The method is reset index. So df.reset index. But if you're going to do, if you're going to do drop equal to true, so it will delete that particular columns also. This index, it is going to drop crime year. So I will remove that particular drop equal to true, and see crime year again came back. If you are going to keep drop equal to true, so this index will delete from the data frame. So you will be having only 7 remaining columns out of 8 columns. One column will delete. This first columns will delete if you are going to pass this drop equal to true here. But I have removed the drop equal to true to keep this crime here for further analysis. Let's do a few more things. Retrieve a range of rows. For example, how can we retrieve the middle rows? There is one more way to retrieve middle rows. So we can pass the numbers. For example, we need a records from 200 to 220. So we can pass like this. So you can get it. So 200 to 219, 19, right? So you need 220 record also, then you can pass it 221 and so on. So if you want to filter middle records from a data frame, you can use this approach also. Earlier we have seen that head and tail combination approach also. Either you can follow that approach or you can follow this particular approach. Can we retrieve the middle few records with specific columns? The answer is yes, because see, if you're going to use this way, this will filter only rows. This will not filter columns. So for this, what we can do, we will specify like this, right? So df of this, we filter the records from 200 to 220 and give only area name and group name inside the 2D list. So if you are going to give this, so you will get area name and you will get the specific group name for only that particular filtered records. Now even we can view the data from data frame using a lock method and iloc method. Lock basically is used to locate the data and iloc is basically used to locate the data with the help of indexing. So let us see how we can use lock method. So I want all rows and all columns. So how we can use all rows and all columns? So method is this. So df.lock. Lock is basically locate, right? This indicates all rows, this indicates all columns, right? So it is separated by comma. So if you're going to do this, you can say all rows we got and all columns. So this all 2449 rows plus 8 columns. Can we go for only first 100 rows and all columns? The answer is definitely yes. So let's make here only 100, right? So don't give all rows, 0 to 100 give all rows and all columns. So don't make any change here. So if you're going to give this, you can say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 100 you got and you got all the columns, right? So we have filtered the rows, but we haven't filtered the columns, right? Can we go for 95 to 100 rows? Yes, definitely. You can pass here 95 colon 100 and all rows basically keep this as it is. Don't make any change into the second parameter because we need all columns. You can say from 95 to 100 we got only those records, but all columns we can receive. Can we go with 95 to 100? Yes, definitely we can go. So 95 to 100 rows we can go. With specific columns, yes, we can go. Here we have to specify the specific column names. For example, we need this crime year or we need area name, right? We can pass area name here. And if you're going to execute this, you can say we got area name only for those 95 to 100 records. So we have filtered records also, we have filtered columns also. Multiple columns, yes, we can do that also. So let me copy this and let me paste here, and here you can pass the second column. For example, we need second column is basically crime year also. So let me copy crime year. So let me take this as it is, yeah, and let me paste this crime year here. Let us check now. Say we got crime year also and we got area names also. So multiple columns plus specific rows from that particular records. So this is basically locate method. We can view the data using iloc method also. Now what is iloc? I will tell you the difference between locate and iloc. Ilocate basically. So for each row there is a row number, and row number is basically called as index, right? So we can use this row number to filter the rows. But what about columns? In columns will also have indexing, and columns also have column names. For example, let me go here. So if you see here, so these are basically your column names. So either you can give column names or you can give appropriate index. Now index will be what? This will be a first column. So 0th column. This is first column. This is second column. This is third column, fourth column, fifth column, and so on basically. So let me show you. Specifically, column is like this. For example, yeah, let me copy this and okay. So let me show what is iloc now. Let me copy this. So specific column, say either you can give area name or you can give the index of that column. This is second column, so index is 1. Index starts with 0 because of this, right? So let us see now. Method is basically iloc. So let's pass iloc. You can see area name we got, and this filtering is already done for the rows. So you can pass one is the basic index. Let me show you here. So 0th index is basically crime year, 1 index is basically area name, 2 index is group name, and so on. So if you want multiple columns, right, so multiple columns also you can specify. So let me copy this and let me go down. You can, if you're going for multiple columns, you can go 1 comma 4. You need first index and fourth column. So this is the area name, and cases the property record. You also got this also. So multiple columns also we can filter down. Even if we can go for negative indexing also. So for example, if you see the indexing, see this is the 0th index, 1, 2, 3. So this is positive indexing, but you can give negative indexing from right to left also. So this is the last last column. So the indexing of this last column will be -1. This is -2, -3, -4, and so on. So if you come from left to, if you go from left to right, it's a positive indexing. If you go from right to left, it's a negative indexing. So you can choose any way. So let me show you. For example, I want last 2 rows. So for last 2 rows, what I can do, I can give -1, right, comma -2, right, and let's run this. So you can say the -1 column is last column. It's a property, so value of property stolen. The value of property recovered, it's a second last column. So we got this. So using this, we can do it. So I think this is enough for this video. If you want to see a few more operations, then we will see in the next video. So I think if you found this video useful, you can like this video, you can share this video to your friends, and you can definitely subscribe your channel if you're not subscribed. Thank you very much.